In math, a matrix is a rectangular arrangement of information in rows and in columns, with a matrix usually having the notation of a capital letter. The rows are up and down while the columns are across from left to right, and how we describe a matrix size depends on how many rows and how many columns it has. So matrix A is a 2 by 2 matrix. That is the size of the matrix with 2 rows and 2 columns. Now we can look at another matrix, matrix B. This matrix has been drawn with 2 rows and 3 columns, which makes this a 2 by 3 matrix. And now, having understood how to describe the size of a matrix, we can look at how we label the information inside the matrix itself. Now, we mentioned how a whole matrix is often labelled with a capital letter. Now, generally this capital letter will determine how we label the elements inside the matrix. So, for a matrix labelled with a capital A, an element of the matrix will be labelled with a small a, subscripted by the row and column number that the element sits in. Drawing an extra matrix to the right here can help show what this means. For our matrix A, A12 is the number 2, as 2 is the element in the first row and the second column, with the element in the third row and the first column being the number 7. And we'll just write down a small matrix labelled B to show that the elements in that case would be labelled with a small b. We can now look at some of the most common types of matrix that can be encountered. The first is a square matrix. This is simply a matrix that has the same number of rows as columns, and thus the overall shape of the matrix is square. So a 2 by 3 matrix would not be a square matrix. A diagonal matrix is a matrix where every element is 0 apart from the elements along the main diagonal coming from the top left element of the matrix. This leads on to mentioning a special diagonal matrix which is known as the identity matrix. This is a square matrix where every element of the main diagonal is the number 1, and the identity matrix can vary in size. Conversely to a diagonal matrix, a hollow matrix is a square matrix where it's the elements in the main diagonal that are 0. Now, if every single element of a matrix is 0, then we call this a zero matrix. Another type of matrix that can be encountered is called a triangular matrix, of which we can have a lower triangular matrix or an upper triangular matrix. In a lower triangular matrix, every element above the main diagonal is 0, while in an upper triangular matrix, every element below the main diagonal is 0. Now, for two more specific types of matrix, there is a symmetric matrix and a scalar matrix. A symmetric matrix is a matrix where every element is the same value as an interchanging element on the other side of the diagonal. The row and column numbers of the elements are simply swapped around. And if you remember the identity matrix from earlier, we can have what is called a scalar matrix, where every element of the main diagonal is the same number and all the other elements are 0 everywhere else.